This is one of the topics that most of the churches, or should I say the mainline church, does not even talk about it. Yeah? They just push this topic under the carpet and they say everything is fine, everything is wonderful. This is a problem that is very much plaguing the church. And as I talk about it, I think we will be touching upon a few areas there. And most of us, when we encounter this problem, they always try to brush this aside. So from this church, or from the young people that I see here, when someone comes across this problem and they approach the church pastor, what is the solution that the church pastor gives? I will pray for you. So they always say, just pray about it. I will also pray for you. You also pray. All right. So the go-to solution for this has been always pray. All right. And even before I start, I just want to make a few things clear. I have been a porn addict in my life. Right, that's the first thing that I want to establish, all right? And I have gone through this addiction for a very, very long time, struggled with it so much, and like many of us, whenever I went to church and asked any elder, this was the answer I got: we'll pray for you, all right? But then, as I struggled through my addiction and I came out of it and God delivered me, blah, 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 cutting the long story short, I was actually encouraged in my heart that I needed to bring out something where I could help people who are traveling in the same boat that I once did. So that's how I started working on this topic. Of course, the journey has not been easy. Even as I started working on this topic, there was one time when I had a relapse and I went back into addiction, because you know how our systems work. You know, when you search a few keywords like addiction, stats on addictions to pornography, the word porn will give you pop-ups, yeah? I was not very tech savvy back then, so I didn't know how to install a pop-up blocker and all of that. So I went back into relapse. I had a relapse of it, and then again, God helped me to overcome it. And during the lockdown time, what I actually saw was there was an explosion of usage on porn. That's when Jio came into the market. They gave free data to everybody. Everybody were in the comfort of your houses during the lockdowns, and everybody was using porn. And that actually encouraged me to go back into this, did a lot more study. But this second time, I was a bit more careful, and that's how I designed this whole structure, as in how can we get out of pornography, or what are the steps that we can do physically, mentally, and spiritually to basically get out of this addiction. All right. So the first thing that I wanted to show you is just very simple. Your internet consumption has an effect on the way we think and behave. All right, very simple. All young people, we are online. We are on some Netflix or social media platforms. Some streaming we do. We do a lot of search online, a lot of shopping online. All right. So what we do online, or the things that we see online, basically affects your thinking pattern and your behavior pattern. For an example, you use Instagram. What is the reason they show you the same ads over and over again? It entices. Okay, for an example, I've been playing a game and then I have these ads. The same Rummy Circle ad keeps coming again and again and again. You know why? Because research tells us that anything that you see more again and again and over again, it gives you a compulsion that you need it. You may not need that product in your life, but you keep on looking at it over and over again. It alters your thinking pattern and it gives you a pseudo understanding, or you no longer live in the reality. Your mind is tricked into thinking that, hey, I need this product. And then we end up buying it. All right, so if you keep watching a lot of aunties which are dancing, then there'll be more uploads on your wall suggesting those videos. Yes or no? So whatever you see, it alters your thinking pattern. Basically, the internet also feeds you that, and then it alters your behavior as well. So this is a fact. All right, so we got to be very, very careful of how we use the phone. All right, it's like fire. You can use it for cooking. You can also use it to burn down your house. So there's a lot of power being given into our hands. All right. So one of the things that young people normally do is that they use this phone to watch a lot of other stuff. All right. So what happens when we watch this? Okay. I would say whenever it comes to anything that you watch online, remember this tagline: consider before consuming. All right, I want you to remember this. Let it be anything. Okay, it could be related to your studies. It could be just entertainment. Just consider before consuming. Why? You know what? Every second we have 28,258 people watching porn. So right now, I'm sure there are more than 30,000 people who are online watching porn right now. Statistics says that over $3,000 has been spent on porn every second. So don't think that somebody is giving out $3,000 every second. on an average, all right? So 49% of all scenes that we watch, it could be soft porn that you see on TV, all right, or it could be some hardcore stuff. It says that it contains verbal aggression. What is verbal aggression? They use bad language, all right? They say things which is not right. Okay, every scene has 49% of all scenes. Let me ask you the question. You know the Tamil movie industry, right? Okay. For example, if a girl talks with a high tone to her husband, what happens next? What does the husband do? Very good. The husband. So from where did you get this idea? Media. So the media is basically educating us. Even our mainstream, I'm saying. If a girl talks, what should the man do? Patak, give him one. Yeah? That's very wrong. The Bible says you're not supposed to do that. All right? So in other words, whether you like it or not, you have the mainstream media also altering your behavior in your thinking pattern. All right? So 49% contains verbal scenes. 88% of all scenes in porn is associated with physical aggression. It's got to do with some hitting, pain, and all of that. You have 64% of Christian men, and that's 54 and 64, sorry. 54% of Christian women, they admit to watching porn. In other words, the so-called church, the so-called believers, the so-called people whom we say that, hey, I'm living this holy life, or I want to lead this holy life, they all admit that, hey, I'm not a regular consumer, but at least once in a week, I definitely do consume. Okay, we'll go to the next one. 200%, which is men and women who use pornography, ended up getting divorced. So this is real-time stats I'm talking about. Okay? So the probability is 200% there, right? And then you have 70% of wives of men obsessed with porn suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. So in other words, if the husband watches porn, he takes it out on the wife, and the wife basically suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder. 56% of all divorces cases involved one party being obsessed with porn. And then 50% people engaging in online pornographic interactions admitted to losing interest in sexual intercourse. Now, why is that? The way God has created us is that we respond to the sense of touch and to the sense of sight. All right? Yes or no? For example, I'm married, by the way. Okay, I have 2 little children. So when I look at my wife, I get aroused. Or when my wife hugs me or she kisses me, I get aroused. And yeah, we do make love. All right? So this is the way God has created this beautiful thing called sex. But what happens in pornography is the fact that you watch something and you get aroused. And day 2, when you watch the same stuff again, you don't watch the same thing again, do you? You watch something different. So as you keep on watching and consuming more porn, the actual way God created us, where we get aroused through the sense of touch, becomes or changes completely into sense of sight. So no longer you would be actually interested in the real lovemaking process, but rather just be enticed by what you see and your masturbation process. So this is why people lose interest in actual sexual intercourse. All right, and I've mentioned a few things there. There are 10 most popular searches which is currently going on. I'm really sorry if I'm bringing it out again. Okay. The searches, it says stepmom and stepson or son. Daughter, father. Brother, sister. Pregnant, teen, MILF, wife. In other words, what do you find common in all these words? Is there a common theme running in these words? Female, okay. Anything else? Family, yeah. Anything else? Taboo, all right. We got words here. So family, taboo. In other words, what I wanted to say was, this is how porn destroys relationships. How? There is something called as a sanctity of a family. Your family is sacred, yes or no? You have brothers, you have sisters, you have mothers, fathers. And for example, if you live in a household where you have a brother or a sister living with you, then you look upon them with sacredness. There is a sanctity in that family. What porn does is that porn destroys the sacredness and the sanctity of any family. In other words, it gives you this idea that why can't we try this? Now remember the first slide that I showed you, your behavior is altered by your thinking. And your thinking is altered by what you consume online. So now if you consume something that keeps on giving you this idea, hey, why don't we try this? Why don't we try this? Why don't we try this? Whether you like it or not, over a period of time, you will succumb to that pressure, and that sanctity in your own family will be destroyed. And this is why we have some young people come and share that I'm not able to live in my house because I'm starting to look upon my sister with dirty eyes. I'm not able to look at my mother when they are in their house clothes. I'm not feeling okay with it. Why? Because of this. Your mind has been constantly consuming things that is altering your behavior. When you were brought up, mommy and your sisters, your brothers, they took care of you, all right? So a relationship that is supposed to be sacred for you, that you need to view with a sanctity in your eyes, that's no longer there. Porn removes that, okay? There was this man of God, I heard this from Ravi Zacharias rather. So he used to say, in one of his sermons, he asked this question, what is the danger of removing God from our life? What happens? Sorry? Eternal death, okay. Anything else? Let's not be very spiritual in this question. What happens if I remove God from my life? I become God. In other words, I can do whatever I want. Yeah? Yeah? Very true. Why? Because only when there is God, He is the lawgiver. When you have the lawgiver, He gives a law. Based upon the law, you decide what is right, what is wrong. So you take God out of the equation, there is no lawgiver. Without a lawgiver, there is no law. Without any law, anything you want to do, you can do. Yes? So in other words, sin becomes meaningless. I can choose to do whatever I want in whichever way I want with whomever I want, and I can still justify myself. There are no lines drawn. There are no disciplines. And let me warn you, any society or any community without any boundaries is bound for doom. All right? If you don't have any boundaries, if you don't have any rules. For example, I cannot just break into your house, can I? Because there's a boundary. I'm not supposed to go there. That's her house. All right? With her permission, I can go. Without her permission, I can just walk in, right? So now, if I remove all these boundaries, then the society will succumb, will definitely crash. All right? So now that's the problem. Studies have proven that prolonged exposure to pornography leads to diminished trust between couples and promiscuity as a natural way of life. There is no sense of security no longer in our life. So they asked this question, what is the problem? So here are a few case studies. These are real life incidents that happened in India. 2019, you have a veterinary by the name Dr. Priyanka Reddy returning back from home. 4 lorry drivers basically kidnapped her, raped her, and then burnt her to death. Okay, and then they were encountered by the police actions, all of that, blah, blah. But the point is, during interrogations, this is what the police found out. The police found out that these 4 people were actually pornographic addicts, and they were watching some very hardcore porn. And one of the things that they wanted to experience was sex where the girl would fight back. Normally, we know that these lorry drivers have sex with prostitutes. They could have done that, but they wanted someone who will fight back. A prostitute is not going to fight back. She's just going to give you what you want and take the money and walk away. So they wanted to experience some real hardcore stuff, okay, where the girl will fight back. All right, so that's the type of sex they were craving for. So what they saw, they wanted to experience in real life. So that's when that happened in Hyderabad. Moving on to 2021, 17-year-old girl from Pondicherry, my own place, very sad, committed suicide after being blackmailed on revenge porn. When I was a young person, I used to watch a lot of stuff which was uploaded. And mostly, if you see, there are the actors who used to act in these videos. But now it's gone worse. All right? You have access whereby which you can upload videos. All right? So now it's a very sick setup that we are in, where young people, in the name of love, they're exchanging nudes. Yeah, nude videos, nude photos. They say, if you really love me, you got to show me yourself. We're going to get married, blah, blah, blah. All of that. And then they end up exchanging nude pictures, nude videos. Some young people even go to the extent of having a sexual relationship outside the boundary of marriage, and they even record it. Okay? And then this happened when this girl was actually blackmailed by the guy to say, you need to give sexual favors to my friend. If not, I'm going to upload your videos online. And that girl committed suicide. Sad. Why? Porn. 2019, Hasini, some people, they say that men are all right, they don't have a problem. They get aroused by the way women dress. So women should always cover themselves up. They should not wear any revealing clothes. They say like that. Yeah, there's this one sect of people who really talk about it. But little girl, 7-year-old girl Hasini from Mugaliwakam in 2019. Okay, this happened. There was this IT guy living in the same apartment, kidnapped her, raped her, threw her in the garbage, and walked away. Why? Because he was basically looking at a lot of child pornography. And he wanted to experience that. A little 7-year-old girl running around in the apartment playing. Kidnapped, raped, gone. Recently, there's this story in Pondicherry, I think you might have heard. A girl running around again, same story. Picked up by 2 men, raped, put into a big sack, thrown into the gutter. Right? And then you have Rose Kelamba in 2020, 14-year-old girl, raped and raped again, videotaped, upload on pornographic websites. In other words, these porn websites have no regulation. They're okay with any type of porn. There's no regulation at all. You can do anything you want. There's this page on Instagram called Fight the New Drug. They've been doing extensive work against these industries, and they're barely scratching the surface if you ask me. But I'm happy at least somebody's doing something about it. All right? So you have so many things happening. And you may say, hey, I'm not doing it. But I want to tell you, where there is demand, there will be supply. So if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So if you're consuming, then you're definitely part of the problem. You cannot say, hey, I'm on this side of the screen. What happens on the other side, I'm not in charge. But because you choose to sit on this side, you trigger what happens on the other side. You understand that? So I'm part of the problem. You're part of the problem. Recently, there's something called as honey trapping. I just added this in. How many of you are on dating websites? Nobody. Praise God. Hallelujah. You know what? There are a lot of dating websites out there, okay, which are actually not dating websites. Okay? If you actually ask me, it is for something else. All right? It's basically to get an escort. That's the way I see it. Why? A couple of years back, I got a call. All right? A video call from an unknown number. All right? And luckily, I had kept my phone like this, and I switched on the phone, and there is a lady on the other side on a video call who's badly dressed. Not badly, barely. All right? So from this position, my phone went like that. Okay, so I'm able to see her. She's not able to see me. Within a few seconds, the call got cut, and she attempted the next call, and I blocked that number. So what is happening, this is the latest methodology of trapping young men. What they do, they make calls like this, and if you're like, hey, free food, rah, okay, and you're going to watch, they screen record, and they hold you for ransom. Happening. Now, what does this have to do with porn? You are actually enticed or encouraged to see this because you're used to watching porn. You get it? Because your mind is programmed. The moment you see something like that, your eyes latch onto it, and that's why you watched it like that. And then there are problems. So this is the latest thing that they're doing, where girls, or should I say organized crime network, they make video calls. Now this is happening extensively on a lot of dating websites. Recently I got an update. There's this dating website called Tiago. I don't know how many of you know. Better you don't know. I don't want to give out information. So there's a dating website called Tiago where a lot of stuff is happening, where women, in the name of dating or finding a partner, or just, they say, we just want to hook up. All right, we just want to just hang out. And then all this is happening. So in other words, there are so many things that is happening which is in one way or the other way that is connected to porn. So what does it do to me? Pornography removes your reality and your physical sensations. It increased porn consumption leads to erectile dysfunction, delayed ejaculation and impotence. Why is this? By watching porn does this happen? No. Why? Because after watching porn, what happens next? You masturbate. The process does not end there, okay? You watch porn, pornography and masturbation cannot be separated. All right? You watch porn and you masturbate. So extensive masturbation and watching porn basically leads to a lot of stuff, mood disorders, social isolation, a lot of things. So these are the ways, if you actually think about it, if you ask me why is pornography wrong, I could easily come to a church and say pornography is sin. Rather, I want you to understand it affects you as a person, it affects your family, it affects the society, it affects everything that it touches. Okay, is soft porn, girls on Instagram dancing, a spiritual attack on my Christian life? Spiritual attack, wow. It is definitely an attack, okay? And I think it is spiritual as well, okay? Now let me ask you this question. Soft porn, girls on Instagram dancing. My real question to you is this: why are you watching that? After watching this, does it stop there? You know why? A lot of young people, when we sit and talk with them, okay, I need to give you this. Over the last 4 years, I've been helping a lot of young people with this addiction problem, all right? So when I sit and talk with them, try to understand the problem and everything, there is something called as a trigger, routine, reward. Okay, get these 3 words in your mind: trigger, routine, and reward. So anything that triggers you to watch porn, for example, 90% of cases, it is some video that you watch on YouTube or on Insta. So you watch some girl dancing, and now you have a feeling that you want to watch something more. So this video that you occasionally came across, or rather you searched and maintained, I don't know how, but that is enabling you or encouraging you to go to another site to watch something heavier, if I can use that word. Yeah? So the trigger is what? Anything that triggers your mind to watch porn is your trigger. And then you watch porn, you masturbate, so that's your routine. The moment you masturbate, what your body does, what your brain does, it releases a lot of dopamine into your bloodstream. So whenever, for men especially, I'm saying, or even for women, when you have the orgasms or when you masturbate and you have the release, right, you feel good. Why? Because your brain releases a huge amount of dopamine into your bloodstream, and the dopamine is this happy drug, if I can say, yeah? And it gives you that happiness. When you eat chocolate also, your brain releases dopamine, but in very small quantities, okay? But when there is a sperm release, a sexual release, the dopamine is more in your body, all right? So now, trigger, and there was a routine which you watched the porn and you masturbated. So this is your routine, and your routine will give what? Dopamine, which is reward, all right? So trigger, routine, and reward. Studies say that we can do nothing about routine and reward. In other words, once the process starts, it will end in rewards. So I can do nothing about the routine part and the rewards part. It is automatic. All right. So the only area, if I want to quit porn, is that I need to work on the triggers. So for that reason, I would say don't watch these things. Why? These are triggers. You watch something. For example, when I was addicted to pornography and I wanted to come out, God saved me. I didn't have phones in my hand at that time. You know, it was mostly on my dongle and my laptop. So one of the things that I did, I brought it out into a common area where I could work with my family being there. And there was another thing that I did. You know, these boys and men have this habit of changing the remote. They go for rounds. I don't know whether you guys do it. In my age, we used to do, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. We see any good program coming. Now you have a lot of clicking options. Okay, you have clickbaits. In our days, we didn't have that. We used to go rounds in TV. So when we are going in rounds in TV, some item number will come in Sun TV or some Surya TV something. I will watch that. I'll get aroused. Then I'll go into my room. I'll watch the porn. Then I'll masturbate. So this was my triggering point. So when I identified my triggers, the first thing that I did was I changed my viewing pattern. I started watching a lot of Fox, History Channel, a lot of cooking shows, a lot of sports. So I never went into these rounds itself. I used to put the number of the channel and watch TV. And identify those triggers. Why? Because once it triggers, you cannot stop it. So I can only work on my triggers. So this, according to me, the soft porn that you're watching on Instagram is a trigger, my friend. So I would humbly request you to stay away from it if you want to quit porn. Because this will not stop. This will lead to another. All right, next question. I have 11 questions more. Why aunties are targeting young? Why are you falling prey? Why are you falling prey? Look, like I told you before, when there is demand, there will be supply. Okay? When there is demand, there will be Supply. Okay. Right now, if you ask me one of the things, just being a little serious, right now, if you actually ask me, some of the trending videos are women who have a lot of curves. Gone are the days where the zero figure was held up in high esteem. If you look at these supermodels, they all are these thin, starving girls, No? Yeah, it's no longer there. Now, being curvy is actually in trend. They say men like it. So that is why aunties are there. So why are you watching auntie? Because porn has fed that image in your mind that you want some people who are more plumpier and more curvy, and aunties fit that bill. So it is not aunties are targeting young people. Your mind has been influenced by porn so much that you have started to search them, and when there is demand, there will be supply. Yeah? Next question? Yeah. How do you influence others to quit porn? We talk about it, and many people don't. Why? This is a taboo subject. The moment we talk about it, everybody like, no, I don't want to talk about it. If you actually ask me, there aren't many people in India who handle this topic. Even Christian ministers are very afraid to talk about this topic. Why? Because half of them are suffering from it. The other half are not educated enough, or they have not picked this up seriously, but this is a very big problem. Now, how do I influence my friend? Is basically if you are a very close friend, you'll basically know whether your friend is having this addiction or not. And if he's having this addiction, you can talk about it, you can help him. There are, Ravi Zacharias used to say, whenever I go into a college, for a Q&A, there are only a handful of questions will keep coming over and over again. Yes or no? So very similar to that in porn also. Some 15 questions are there which keeps coming in different angles. But it is the same 15 questions that keep coming. So I have written down answers to all 15 which I'm willing to share with all of you. You can go through that and get a little equipped. And then there is also a porn video series. I'm sorry, not porn video series. It is a video series on porn addiction. Okay, Crosswave has actually done that, and I've spoken on that. You can actually go on YouTube, and all these questions have been made into videos. And there are a few more other websites that I can help you with. Get yourself educated, and then go talk to your friend, help him out, show how he can come. Right? So if you feel your friend is suffering and you don't know how to help him, bring him to us. This question basically tells me that you're okay to watch porn, but you're not okay to be addicted. Yes or no? Can you look at this question from my vantage point? How do we know that we are addicted to porn? In other words, I'm watching it here, but no problem, man. Now, how do I know? I have a problem if I get addicted. Why? Because addicted is this negative word. Yeah, I'm addicted to smoking, I'm addicted to drinking. That's a negative word. Watching porn is not negative. This is natural stuff. Let me tell you, if your body and your brain craves to watch porn, you're addicted. And even casual viewing of pornography will lead you into addiction. 100%. There is no two ways about it. You cannot say, hey, I'm just watching and nothing is happening in my life. There was this one session where we went, and there was this one boy who came and said, I'm masturbating, but I'm not thinking about anybody. I'm not watching porn. So is that wrong? Is masturbation wrong? Okay, then I had to tell him, hey, you cannot separate pornography and masturbation from one another. He said, why? I'm not watching porn, but I'm masturbating regularly. So what's the problem with it? It is good. Some of the people, some doctors say regular masturbation is very good for you. It increases your sperm life, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of myth out there, let me tell you. Why? Because there's a paid propaganda by these industries to make people believe that masturbation is good. Why? Because masturbation is connected to pornography. Only because you're masturbating, you're watching pornography. It's chemically chained to one another. All right? So I had to explain to this boy that, hey, you're saying that you're masturbating without thinking about anybody? He said, yeah, I'm not watching anything, I'm not thinking. So I asked him, you look upon a wall, you get aroused and you'll masturbate? He said, no. Then, I'm thinking of an anime character. No, trust me, young people say this. By the way, there is a lot of anime porn out there. There is anime porn out there. So they say, I'm watching anime. Okay, it's not even a real person. How is it a sin? So I said, boss, how did this anime sex or this anime porn get created? Do you know how it gets created? Any Marvel fans out here? All these Avenger movies or the Marvel movies that you watch, it basically happens in a green studio, all right? There's a lot of effects that goes into it. And these people, for example, Thanos and all of that, they wear a lot of motion sensors on their body. You might have seen this black suit with a lot of sensors. That is exactly how an anime porn also gets shot. There is a porn actress who comes and they map her body using these motion sensors. And using a lot of effects, all right? They alter the body image, okay? A little bit more plumpier, thinner, depending upon a person's liking. They do all of that. And then whatever videos that you see, they enact it on live stage. It gets shot just like this Avenger movie. They have a green room where it gets shot. So any action that this woman does gets mapped virtually, and then the anime sex or the anime porn is created. So now tell me, is there a woman involved in this process or not? So then, if you're saying that I'm looking at an anime, there also a woman is actually involved to give you that sense of arousal. So in other words, you cannot do one without the other. All right? So that's what I'm saying. Everything is connected to your brain, so you cannot just justify something and say, okay, I'll just walk away with it. I'm just doing a little bit, I'm not doing more. So rather than asking this question, how do I know I'm addicted? I would say stay away from it. We never go and say, let me take a little poison only. We don't, no? We stay away from it, yeah? Little bit, no. We don't want it. So in other words, let's not even have this question. Let's change our thinking pattern to say, this is something which is absolutely detrimental to my health, to my family, to my society, and I will stay away from it. We'll go to the next question. What are some practical ways? Okay, this is a very big answer out here. Okay, it's very difficult. Look, some of the things that we would encourage people is this. Whenever you have this habit of watching porn, if you actually watch closer, there will always be a routine. There will be a place where you will watch porn. There will be a time that you watch porn. So when I say time, it is not like 5 to 6. Some people have that also, scheduled porn watching. But mostly, I'm not talking about that. But rather, I'm saying you look for windows when you are alone. Like say, if you are with your family, you'll see when mommy, daddies are not there. Or you'll see when your siblings are not there, when you have time alone. So in other words, if you actually look closer, you have a kind of a pattern. You will always have a place for watching porn. Why? Because it is linked to masturbation. So any place that you watch porn will most likely be the place where you masturbate also. Or you will have a place to masturbate very closer to this place where you're watching porn. Okay? So understand this first. So if you want to get rid of this temptation of watching porn, then you need to get rid of this routine that you have, right? This place where you have. So you need to change that. So if you are a kind of a person who normally watches porn late into the night when after everybody sleeps, I would suggest move your bed to your parents' room or with your brothers where you are in some sort of a supervision. All right? So some sort of a supervision. I would say destroy anything and everything that triggers watching porn. It could be Instagram, it could be Facebook. Recently in Pondicherry, I encourage my young people. We have a few fellowships there, and I encourage my young people to stay away from social media for 3 months. I'm not asking you to just stay away from everything forever, but rather build an endurance in yourself. Okay? So when you delete your account and you recreate another new account, you are resetting the algorithm in your social media. All right? So when you recreate an account, by the way, you cannot use everything the same, then it gets mapped. If you recreate an account, then the algorithm changes. So when you create a new account, what happens is that you bring in a new behavior, new viewing behavior. So when I take a 3-month break, I get mentally equipped and more strong. Then when I go back into social media and I can restructure my algorithm in such a way that these things don't come into my wall. Okay? So one of the other things is definitely social media. The third thing I would also say is get a mentor. I had a mentor by the name of Mr. Paul Isaac, who really helped me during my addiction days. With your mentor, I would encourage you to be very open. Allow your mentor to have access to your phone, your laptops, your rooms, all right? And have regular conversations with your mentor. Whenever you watch porn, talk to your mentor. Whenever you're able to stay clean, talk to a mentor. All right, so there's a lot of mentor-mentee relationship that has to be there for someone to come out of porn and also to get rid of the addictions in this field of pornography. So there's a few answers, but there are a few more. In other words, how do you prepare yourself mentally? Okay, so it takes a lot of time to sit and talk with you. So of course I can't go very deep into it, but on a surface level, that would be my answer. There's an article that watching porn has various health benefits, including physical and mental, and it is backed up by science. What's your take on it? Okay, what are those articles? Now, what is the benefit? I explained to you how it disturbs you physically, mentally, as a family and as a society. Now, how do you rebuttal all this? There are studies that says that watching porn, not even watching porn, it says masturbation has physical benefits. Porn watching does not have any benefits. Okay? There are two things, masturbation and porn watching. Porn watching leads to masturbation, and masturbation okay, let me explain that process. So, why do we crave to watch porn? Like I told you, when you eat chocolates, your brain releases what? Dopamine, all right? So the next time you have a sweet craving, all right, or there is a dopamine craving in your body, your brain will remind you of the previous activity that you did that made it to release dopamine. So if eating chocolate was the activity that you did where the brain released dopamine, that is the activity that the brain will remind you, and you'll go eat chocolate. Now, when it comes to masturbation, I told you the amount of dopamine is far heavier and far greater than from what you eat with chocolates. So why do we have this craving to watch porn is what? For an example, when young people come for a rehabilitation and say, I want to quit pornography, we give them a challenge for 27 days with no porn watching for 27 days. Why? The 27 days basically breaks this cycle. What is the cycle? Your body, on day 1, nothing will happen. Day 2, no watching porn, nothing will happen. Day 3, you will start trembling. You will start feeling irritated. Why? Because if you had the cycle of watching porn every day, your body is used to getting a dosage of dopamine every day. So 24 hours, no dopamine comes to your bloodstream. Okay, no problem. 48 hours, okay, we'll manage. 72 hours, your brain goes into hyperdrive. It starts to find out, hey, something is wrong. Dopamine is not coming to the body. By day 4 and 5, your brain goes into panic mode saying something is wrong with me. Why? I'm not releasing dopamine. And immediately your brain will remind you, what did you do the previous time that made me release the dopamine? Oh, you watched porn. So today watch porn so that I can release what? Dopamine. So that is how this craving happens. Very similar to smoking cigarettes or drinking. You feel that something is wrong with me. Actually, nothing is wrong with you. Your brain has been rewired. Your brain is tricked. Okay, brain is basically tricked to understanding something is wrong. And that's why you feel this huge craving. And your mind will start devising ways, finding areas where you want to watch porn and masturbate. And the moment you masturbate, this craving will stop. Why? Dopamine is released. So it's just chemical. All right. So if you actually ask me here, there's a lot of stuff that is out there online saying masturbation is good for you. This is what I told you previously. The porn industry is a $1 billion industry that is dependent on a person masturbating. That is dependent on a person's release of dopamine. So if that is taken away, then the entire industry will crash. So there's paid propaganda out there that says that masturbation is good for you. It increases your sperm health. It increases in fertility, blah, blah, blah. So many stuff. If you actually search carefully, you will have equal amount of studies that actually contradicts every single word that all these studies say. So now, given that is only regarding to you. Now, what is your article about social behavior? What is your article about family, sanctity or the sacredness of your family? What will be the answers for that? Oh, we are all modern people. We are okay with anything. We're slowly moving into a community which says that I'm a cat, I'm a dog, I'll be whatever I want. Yeah, now you get to choose your sexual orientation. Yes or no? Now, this is what I said at the beginning. When we don't have boundaries, when we don't have rules, the society will come crashing down. You cannot just say, I will live by whatever way I want. Whatever I want makes sense, I'll do it for me. No, it has an impact on the larger picture. So your life, don't think that this is just me. The way you live your life, whether you like it or not, you touch people. Your life touches people. You're not an isolated creature. We are social beings. So we will come into intersections with a lot of people. So our behavior definitely impacts the society. There's no taking back in that. So if my behavior and the way I choose my life impacts the society, then I need to be careful of what I believe and what I choose. Right? So that would be my answer to this. Okay, next one. If watching porn is a way for someone to overcome loneliness, they don't know what else to do. How can one fight the same? Okay, very good question. And this is definitely one of the most spoken topic. They say, I watch porn because I feel lonely. All right? I just want to tell you, one problem can never become a solution to another problem. You get it? One problem can never become a solution for another problem. You may have, okay, like I said, porn basically gives you this feeling that you're not living, it disconnects you from reality. Okay, let me ask you this question. When you watch porn, okay, you see these actors and actresses, okay, and then there are these sexual scenes. Have you ever seen, I can't ask that question, can I? For example, in real life, I'm married. How many of you are married here? Beautiful. Okay. So these questions are for the married couples. Did you put makeup before having sex? Yeah? No? You look for people with the perfect bodies to have sex? But if you actually look at all these pornographic videos, it will always be someone with a six-pack. Now, okay. But trust me, I've had sex. Yeah. So they look out for these women who are perfect. They're like sculptures. Okay? They have different body orientation which they shoot. So now let me ask you this question. So just because I'm maybe a little fatter, but I'm handsome, but that's fine. So does that mean that I'm not eligible for that? In other words, pornography glorifies a certain body type. It stereotypes. Okay, it says this is how it should be. Okay, and then what will happen to all the men? They'll start looking out for women who have that perfect body orientation. Okay, the perfect body. So what about the wife at home? Normally, women, when they give birth, what happens to their body? Changes. Their whole body changes. They go through so much of pain. They go through so much of change. Physically, mentally, they go through a lot of stress. Okay, for what? For giving birth to your son and your daughter. And then you feel that they are no longer attractive. Fair? Now, when you constantly consume porn, it kind of gives you that image. This is perfect. This is perfect. All heavy makeup. All right? Certain body types. In other words, we are living not in reality. We are living in a dream, in a bubble. What you see on screen never happens in reality. There are certain videos that I personally seen, okay? A plumber will walk into the door, start fixing the tap. How does that work? It doesn't happen. So in other words, it feeds your mind with so much of living in a bubble, you lose touch with reality. You constantly lose touch with reality. And then we start to say, okay, so that I'm doing this, doing that. In other words, I want to say, start living in reality. So if you're suffering from loneliness, be part of this church, I would say. Look, I'm not flattering. One of the things I really loved was the moment we walked in, there were so many people who came and spoke with us. They did not know who I was, okay? I didn't even ask brother's name. He came and asked me, would you like to have a cup of tea? I don't know whether he knew I'm the speaker and he gave me a cup of tea, by the way, because they didn't get it, I got it. In other words, but there were people who came and spoke to them also. Even before, they stood up and they got all the goodies, okay? So I'm saying, if you know somebody who's suffering from loneliness, get them connected. Get them connected. Okay, that is the responsibility of us being in the church. I hate you just coming here and warming these benches. I always say to my young people that each and every one of you are a missionary. There's no change about it. Don't ever think that because I'm standing here, I'm designated, I'm one step higher than you. No, I'm just like you. I have the same calling and you have the same calling. What is that? Go out and make disciples. And how do we do that? We connect, we show them love, we bring them out of their loneliness. That's our job. right? So like I said, one problem cannot solve another. So if you're suffering from loneliness, try your very best to reach out to some people who can connect you to a bigger group. But porn can never be the answer, because it will continue to feed into your mind and give you the sense of being somewhere else, and you disconnect yourself from reality. But the consequences are real life implications. Okay? You may think that, okay, I'm in a different world now. Okay? But the complication or the consequences of your actions will have real life consequences. So beware. Next one. All NF series movies have soft moment. As a Christian consumer who may or may not struggle with porn, he or she watches it regularly so much, so it's a normality. What should be the Christian response? Like I told you from the slide that I showed you, consider before consuming. Very simple. Okay? I love watching movies on the big screen. All right? I love watching movies on the big screen. But I'm super careful before I watch something. Why? Because I don't want another relapse. I know the struggles. I know what I've gone through. I don't want it. So I don't even go near these things. All right? I don't even go near these things. So when some videos that comes, and the moment I get a hint that something is going to happen on screen, I forward it. That's one thing that I would say. I would want you to skip it. Rather, best, don't even touch it if you ask me. You may have a feeling, Game of Thrones I can't watch. Okay, House of the Dragon I can't watch. So be it. Why? It is rather you don't watch that and lose your soul. Rather the soul is intact, and I stay away from that. Okay? Of course, when we talk about it on the normal terms, it is a little bit more difficult. But again, if I'm not in a church, my answer to this question will be this. I would say, if watching that triggers you to watch porn, then don't watch that. If this is your trigger, then don't touch it. Why? Because this will lead to something else. That will lead to masturbation. Masturbation will lead to every single impact that I told you to your body. Okay, next one. I'm sorry, I'm drinking a lot of water. Oh man. This is a tough one. Why? We are naturally programmed, or men rather I would say, we are naturally programmed to look upon women, vice versa too, okay? So it's a very natural thing for us. So now how do I avoid seeing a woman in a wrong way even if I quit porn? I had the same problem. When I was an addict to pornography, the day I decided to quit was exactly for this reason. Why? I had my sister, my cousin's sister rather, she had come home and I started imagining things with her. This happened years back. And that's the day when I felt so dirty and shameful that I started to think, is this who I am? That I look upon my own sister in such demeaning ways. And that's the day I decided enough is enough. I don't want this. I'm going to get clean. So that was the triggering point of my rehabilitation. That was how God touched me to say, this is what you're doing and this is how dirty it is. That was my turning point. But you know something, even after I stopped watching pornography, there are times when I stood in the pulpit and I was preaching, Satan would show up some image that I had watched some time earlier. Your brain is way powerful than the supercomputer that is out there. Your brain has so much of capacity, okay, so much of storage, yeah, that the things that you watched years and years back, it is there in storage, okay? So how do I get out of this? In the church, I would say it is God who delivers. Any deliverance is from God. Someone asked me if it was a spiritual attack, and I would say yes, it is. And it is God who delivers us from all of this, okay? And God will definitely help us. God help me get my head clean. If I'm not in the church, my answer would be, God will still help you. And there is another one explanation. Have you seen this video online where you have 2 cups of water, one with the ink and one without the ink? Okay, and the cup which is filled with ink, as you keep pouring good water in it, what happens? Eventually, it becomes clean. It takes a lot of time, yeah? Eventually, it becomes clean. Similarly, when you start loading your mind with the good things, like I said, I changed my viewing pattern. I stopped watching movies. I stopped watching videos, stopped watching all these cinema songs. I started watching only travel, living, cooking, and all of that. And then we slowly change our mind. It is a process through which you rewire your brain to see things which would clean your mind. Okay? Also, when you read more of the Word of God, when you keep praying, God also helps you. So it's dual in nature. One, on the physical side, I will do X, Y, Z. And on the spiritual side, this is what God does for us. Yeah? So this is going to take time, even if you quit porn. So my answer to this person is, don't stop. Not only with porn, I'm saying anything that you do where you feel you've fallen, the best reaction to is get up and start running again to God. Yeah? So even if you are having this problem, continue working on yourself. Allow God to help you. Allow yourself filling your mind with the good things, that eventually you will come out of it. But if God wills that He gives you deliverance overnight, praise God for that. Can girls watch? Oh, yes. Can girls watch porn? Oh, by the way, S is not for that one. Yes is for the next one. I'm sorry, I got to be careful. Yeah. Okay, like I said, 84% of all women before they turn 12 have watched at least one pornographic video or porn. They are exposed to some form of porn. That's the stats for India. Okay, 84%. So what it means women are watching porn. So how does this affect your family? Same thing. The way it affects a man, it affects a woman. I'll tell you one story. Okay, this happened. This happened in one city. Okay, there's this family whom we are helping out. The family came and told us that they were in the process of getting a divorce. So we went and checked with them, what is this? They said that the husband and wife have this habit of watching porn before having sex. Fire, more passion, all of those big words. So eventually what has happened is that the man has lost interest in the woman, in his wife. So what he does now is that every time he wants to have sex with his wife, they lie down on the bed. He covers her face with a piece of cloth, a towel or something. And then they have sexual intercourse. And the woman, the girl, she feels violated. She feels as if she's a prostitute. And she's gone into so much of stress and this. And all of this is because I see you, for example, I watch some type of a porn today. Tomorrow I watch something else. It's never the same. So in other words, slowly in my mind, I started looking at different women. And my mind starts to crave for different women. But in reality, I'm married to one person. So now I can no longer enjoy what God created, which is pure and blessed, with that person. Now my mind has degraded, okay, to such a level that now I'm craving for different women and I'm not able to have it. And this is the result of that. And this is vice versa. It's not only with men, okay? There are women who feel that my man, or should I say my husband, is not good enough. His performance is not good enough. Have you heard about these terms in college? That pasangalam pesuvanga, "Hey, performance nalla iruknumda. You got to be good in bed." In other words, a person's manhood is actually determined by that. Or should I say that is a myth they have created. That you got to be very good in bed. No. In other words, they say your male organ should be at this size and all of that. Why? Again, it's a myth. I don't want to go very deep into that, but still, it is a myth that makes us feel that what God has given me is not sufficient. Yeah? Because you're watching porn, your mind starts to compare. To say, this is what I got, but that is what I want. And this feeling is not good for family. This thought is never good for family. Even for the man, he will start thinking. Even when the wife is good, he will, if for example, okay, again, being very hypothetical here. Just imagine there's this guy who's a very normal average Joe and he has a very beautiful wife. Every day this will be thinking, whom is she talking to? Whom is she talking to? I'm not good enough for her. All of this thing comes from porn. This insecurity in our life comes from porn. So whether you're a girl or a boy, it doesn't really matter. Please don't watch, because it is going to take you somewhere else. Will it affect your family? 100% it will affect your families. Once trust is gone, it will lead to a divorce. When divorce happens, the family is broken. Your children suffers because of your actions. As a person working with young people and teens, let me tell you, children coming from broken families, they have so much of issues, so much of unresolved issues. So much. I'll take another full session if I'm going to talk about that. Children coming from broken families, they have some of the most troubled upbringing, troubled childhood. They may have a lot of money, but I want to tell you, there are things that money does not buy. And why? It is all will boil down to that one point where the husband and wife enjoyed porn, or one of them enjoyed porn. And your actions will affect you, will affect your wife, your children, next generation also. So no. All right, next one. Am I in time or out of time? With the lights, I can't see anything there. 20. Since we are in India, we have different culture. How important to talk about? Oh man, I would say please talk about it. In the Western culture, they say, did you have the talk? Yeah? And I think slowly we are getting there. My thing is, if you don't talk about it, someone else will talk about it to your children. And even with you as young people, it's important we talk about it. But giving into that word called culture, if you feel that, hey, I can't do it, I can never have the talk, then somehow bring them into a session like this, online session, so that they are exposed to teachings. This problem was not there a few years back. When I say a decade back, we didn't have this much of issues. All right? Now it is gone haywire. All right? If you go and talk to any psychologist, you will know the extent of damage this pornography industry is doing to families. So it's my humble request, open up. But some cultures or some traditional families may find it very hard. Then seek help, bring them out to a session where they can be exposed so that they understand this is a real life problem and needs real solutions. You can't just keep brushing things under the carpet. Because at one point, everybody will find your skeletons in your closet. That's eventually it's going to happen. So there's no way running around it or just ignoring it, because at one time you need to face the music. You will have to face the music. That'll be my answer. Yeah, next one. How can the church foster a culture of vulnerability? Okay. My direct answer would be the best approach is mentor-mentee model. You need to have mentors. As young people, I want to tell you, it's a young church out here. Get a person whom you're accountable to. Young people do not like to be questioned. Whenever we say something as an advice, we tend to go the opposite direction. This is how young people are. So if I tell a young person, hey, அதை பண்ணாத, அதை தான் பண்ணுவான். Okay, so rather I say, அதை பண்றா. So do it. Find someone, a mentor who can help you, someone who will not exploit you for your secrets, okay, someone who can keep that confidentiality. I'm sorry to say not all churches have perfect mentors. Again, mentors will have some issues, but try to work around it, okay? But the best method is having this mentor-mentee relationship. India, especially in mainland, maybe a congregation like this, you may have a mentor-mentee relationship, but in mainline churches, they suffer big time because there is no relationships happening. Very kind of a pseudo kind of worship happens. So it's very difficult. So I would encourage you, have mentors. Have voices in your life that says you're wrong. If you have voices in your life that say, hey, you're wrong, be thankful for those voices. Be thankful for those voices. Never get upset with those voices. Why? Those voices is what will keep you in check. They have the best in mind for you, and that is why that voice of correction comes. So have mentors. Create that kind of a culture in the church, especially in the church, where we would be able to come and share with somebody the deep, dark secrets, someone who will not exploit us for those dark secrets, who will not judge us, who would still love us the way we are, right? So if you ask me, the church needs to work on creating mentors like that, who would love a person despite who they are and what they have done, right? And then that will trickle down. So it starts very small, but if we start to make that change, I think we can impact a bigger amount in the society. Yeah, next one. Why the old man wants sex with little kids? Oh, you're asking about a sexual orientation, about someone's sexual orientation. I don't know. You know what? This is what I told you at the beginning of the session. There are some questions I don't have the answer to. And this really sums it up. I don't know. Look, I don't want to have sex with children. Okay, that's where I want to end this. I don't know about old men. I don't know. But you know what? When you watch a certain type of porn, like I told you before, it alters your thinking, it alters your behavior. And obviously, we always like to have something which we cannot have. For example, when I was young, I had the desire that I want to get married to actress Neha. Finally got married to Shanti. All right, so we always tend to see, okay, I want that, but it's not going to happen. So maybe that's the answer. I don't know. I seriously don't know the answer to this question. Next one. How do I stop viewing girls in a dirty way? I think I've already answered that. So we will skip that question. You need to work on your mind. It starts from day one. Work on the triggers. Whatever triggers you, you need to slowly working on. Remember the water, the dirty water with the good water going in. So that's the answer to that. Next one. Does porn affect only men, not females? No, I've answered this again. It affects men, it affects women, it affects transgenders, it affects everybody. There's nobody who's left out. It affects children, it affects families, it affects societies. You name it and it will affect. You heard about this term called the Midas touch? You don't know about the King Midas? You heard about King Midas? Very old Greek mythology. Okay, there was this man called Midas that God gave him power. Anything that touches, it becomes gold. Yeah? Have you heard? No, Ilya. Sorry. Similar to that, pornography is the opposite of Midas touch. Anything it touches, it destroys. Okay, it's like that. Okay, next one. Do you dodge out of this addiction before or after marriage? If after marriage, how did it affect? No. Okay, I came out of this way before my marriage. I would in fact encourage, if you are addicted to pornography, don't get married. Work on your addiction before you get married. Okay? Why? Because this is something that we normally don't talk about it outside in the open, but it has very serious complications. Just imagine when we look out for partners, they check, Thambi kudipara, Thambi dammadipara, Thambi scene padam paapara kekka matanga. Kekkave matanga. But I've been teaching young people, ask that question. Why? More than drinking and smoking, this is more injurious to health. This is very injurious to health. So I would say, talk to your pastors, talk to your counselors, get this done. After you get freedom from this, then go look out for a partner. Your married life will be blessed. If you're already married and suffering from this, as a couple, work on this. Okay? Whenever I work on this, whenever I go for a talk, I always tell my wife to take care of my needs. Even now, I tell my wife, Shanti, I need you. Why? This feeling to have sex is very recurring by nature. Sometimes in married life, what happens, we become busy, we have children, we need to take care of them, and then we forget about each other. And when that happens, the men actually tend to lean on the outside, which is not good. So what you should do, you should go to your partner and ask for your need, which is, if sex is a need, if you're hungry, you say, Shanti, I want food. You can't say that, I will say that. So similar to that, I say, Shanti, I need this. Why? She's my wife. And when she has that need, I take care of it. When you do that, you keep each other safe from the traps of the devil. You keep each other safe from falling prey to things on the outside. Right now, you see any web series, any Tamil series, that is the theme of the thing. Just think about it. You name one web series, I'll tell you. You name one Tamil series, if this is not the theme, I'll change my name. Seriously. Okay, this man will have an affair with that woman will have an affair. When we were kids, there used to be this triangle love story. Now it's no longer triangle, it's pentagon, hexagon, and for us to even get our mind, who's yaar? Why does those things happen is because this flame, or should I say this love between the couples is lost. So don't let Satan even gain a foothold inside your marriage. Take care of each other. All right? So that would be my answer. Okay? Yeah. How can we deal with the potential? Okay, by the way, coming back to the previous question, as a couple or as individuals, if you still have problems, if you want to understand, and I want to really come out of it, what do I do? Please get in touch with us. We will definitely help you. Me and Shanti, I talk to boys, Shanti talks to girls, and we can help you. And also, like I said, Ranjitana, I will give you all the material I have. Maybe you can share it with the people. How can you deal with potential mental and spiritual effects of porn from a Christian perspective? Again, we need to deal with porn first before we get into this idea. Okay? Unless and until we get that person out of the addiction, we cannot really work on everything else. And if you really ask me, what do I do about my mental and spiritual effects? The answer is, along with it, if I work on my addiction with pornography, this automatically gets fixed. People can pray for you. You can pray for the bondage to be broken, for a deliverance, all of that. But along with that, there are physical steps, there are mental steps that you need to take. Like I said, it's a 27-day course that we normally ask people to start. We tell them for 27 days, stop watching porn. And normally everybody fail within day 4, day 5. So we ask them to restart the process. So in this process, as a mentor, we would ask the mentors to check upon them, talk to them. There are a few online tools. For example, Covenant Eyes is a good software. Net Nanny, X3 Watch. There are a few softwares that you can install on your phone and your devices. So anytime you go into anything, your mentor gets an update. Our man watched this today. It is you're laughing at it, but it is very detrimental, because let me tell you, anything that you hide, anything that you keep in darkness will have a control over you. The moment you bring it out in the light, it no longer has a hold on you. You understand? So the more we kind of put it in the closet and say, nobody should know, nobody should. It has a hold on you and you will never be free from it. You will always have a grip on your brain. The moment you bring it out and say, this is what I am. I'm sorry, but this is what I am. That the first thing that happens is it loses its grip on you mentally. And then it helps you to do things, like I said, this release of dopamine, that's a physical thing. So you need to work physical to rewire the chemicals in your brain. So physical, mental, and spiritual. 3 things. All right, go on. Next one. Stumble across the term ethical. Oh man. I told you there's a lot of paid propaganda out there. So you've stumbled across this called ethical porn. What do you mean by this ethical porn? Have you heard about this term called oxymoron? That's what it is. That's my thought. It's an oxymoron. It can't be ethical and porn. What is ethical about porn? Please tell me. Someone explain it to me. What is ethical? That you do the act, you can take a video of it and put it online? It's ethical because both of us give the consent to it. Even that is wrong. You know why? Somebody else gets into trouble because of your action. Even if both of them had the consent and you shot a video, there is someone else who's the so-called lonely person you spoke, na? That person gets affected because of your actions. What is ethical in that? This is an oxymoron. Like I said, there's a paid propaganda out there. They know that there are people right now who are standing up to it. Like I said, Fight the New Drug is a good page. There are a few more things that's happened in the US and stuff. So they are doing this. They are trying to justify themselves. They're trying to say, this is fine. This is fine. This is all right. This is justified. This is called ethical porn. So now ask the pornographic website to divide their section, ethical and unethical. They won't do it. Do you know Pornhub has rape videos online? Now don't go and search them. Sad. Like I said, there's no regulation. Now what is ethical about a rape video? That girl who was a victim of your atrocious act, you load it online, okay, and she has to live through the same pain over and over and over and over again. What is ethical about it? There's nothing ethical. I showed you so much of stories. One girl finishing her job, going back home, a veterinary student from Hyderabad, gets caught, raped, beaten, burnt, video being taken. What's ethical about it? Young people, in the name of love and trust, they exchange the nude videos. Now they're being threatened, if you don't give sexual favors to my friend, I will load it online. What is ethical about it? Come on here, we can't even get into this. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional on this question. But I'm so passionate about this topic, sometimes it really irritates me to even get a question like this. Why? Because there's nothing like this. In no sense can we have something called as an ethical porn. Because a porn violates a person, it violates a family, it violates a society, it violates anything that it comes in contact with. And now here I'm justifying it to say it's all right. Let me tell you, any sin, before you commit that act, your mind will always try to find justifications for you to do the act, so that you can justify your action. That's exactly what this is. All right, next question. I think we're out of time. Now give me a shout out. 1 minute. Okay. Maybe we'll take 1 or 2 more questions and done. Why men so much into porn than women? 94% of men and 84% of women are there. Why is this? Because, like I said, for men, the way we have been created and we've been wired, it is all about touch. For women, it's more about feelings. All right? So if you actually even think about your lovemaking process, the moment the man has the release, he's done. But for a woman, she would actually want to be held and cuddled and put to sleep. Why? Because for her, more than the act, that emotional connection and that emotional bonding is what a woman looks. But for a man, it is on the most superficial level. It's more physical rather than it is emotional. And that's the reason many men, but sorry to say, now women are also getting into the boat. Right? So 94%, 84%, not a big deal. But yeah, that's the answer. Next one, last one. Compensate for dopamine release by other habits like smoking and others. How can we compensate for dopamine? You cannot compensate dopamine release because, like I said, every activity, smoking, drinking, yes, there is dopamine release, but the amount of dopamine that has been released after a sexual activity is really high. Okay, so if you're married, then yeah, you can have regular sex with your wife, with your husband. That really gives you a substitute. But if you're not married, I'm sorry. I don't have an answer. You need to really work on your triggers. Yeah, seriously, to be honest with you, jokes apart, if you're a married person, it makes the process, the rehabilitation process, a little bit more simpler. Why? Because every time you have the urge to masturbate, you can always have sex with your wife. Yeah, you can always have sex, and that's why I said partners can help each other come out of it. All right. I always tell my wife, every time we get busy, we are in ministry, for example, the last 60 days, we've been traveling so much, meeting more than 1,000 young people. And I always told her, I'm missing you. And when I say I'm missing you, she knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. So it's important whether, it's important even as a Christian minister, when you meet a lot of people, we can always fall to temptation. We can always, it's just one moment. That's it. And then everything that you lived your life for, that you build your life upon, everything will come crashing down. So it's always best to go back to your wife. So for young people, my sincere advice is get older, get married. Yeah. Okay. Next one. After masturbation, why the guilt feel comes when like I'm the worst person? Good question. I was waiting for this one. I think we'll end with this. We get the guilt feeling because that's when your brain starts working. Trust me, seriously. Really. You know what? Like I told you, day 3, 4, when you're not masturbating, when you don't have the release of dopamine, your brain goes into panic mode. It can no longer see things straight. Okay, it'll be like, hey, something is wrong. Give me dopamine. That's how your brain reacts. And it constantly reminds you of the previous activity that made it release dopamine. I already told you this. So when you're in a panic mode, you will never think straight. Even when you do what you're doing when you know that what you're doing is wrong, when it is a sin, even when you have all the reasons and the realizations in the world, your brain will deny everything. Your brain will deny everything. It will only say, I want it now. Have you seen children fight? I mean, they say, I want it, daddy, I want it. It's like that. Your brain will refuse to reason. After you had the release, it calms down. And that's when you had acho poch. There are so many young people whom I have been helping, and they say, are you on a 7 days, 8th day uttatane. This feeling comes, why? Because you don't want it. Look, I get a lot of young people, deep down in the heart, they really want to get out of it, but they struggle with it. So I encourage them. I said, it's okay if you fall down, pick yourself, run again. So you did 7 days. Now, second round, let's do 10 days. So eventually we'll get to that 27. You get it? Eventually we'll get to the 27. Some people break the stream at 7 or 5, 4. It's okay. Get up, let's restart the streak. Yeah? So that's how we encourage them. So answer is this, it comes into you. That's when realization kicks in and you feel, I have worked so much. Okay, one more thing, since I'm in a church, I'm saying this, okay? If it was a secular audience, maybe I won't say it. Satan will always tell you that you're ugly, that you're dirty, that you're shameful. God is this pure, amazing God with no blemish, all right? He is so pure, okay? And you're not fit to be in His presence. This is the truth, but the second part is a lie. I am dirty, God is amazing, all that is fine. But the last bit He adds, that you're not worthy to stand in His presence. Even that to a certain extent I'll accept. I'm not worthy. But His grace surrounds me. He accepts me just as I am. Maybe today I'm here talking about this topic, but there was this one day when I was just another porn addict. And it was the grace and the love of Jesus that kept me welcoming back over and over again, that enabled me to understand I need to get clean for this love that I had on the cross. So I would encourage you, never give in to this thought where it says, you're not worthy, you're so unclean, don't go to God, He's perfect, He's holy. He's perfect, He's holy, but He loves you. He loves you just the way you are, and He does not love you the way you are. He wants you to change. He wants you to come out of this sin, this act, right?